What's going on, people? Welcome to the Morning View here on United View. Happy Friday, day before a game. Games are coming thick and fast, man. What are you lot saying? Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. How long? We need players back. Hurry up. Hurry up. That's what today's show is about. Injury boost galore. Or is it? Because we're sick and tired of it. We're fed up. Give us our full strength team and we need to start getting results.
It started off so well. And
yeah,
then it just went straight in.
You just got to get to what it is, man. You got to get to what it is, because now is, the season starts here, essentially. And it's a bit shameful that we're saying that, because you don't just get to say that, after 6 games in all comps. But that is really the truth. If we're going to have any form of revival or calm or turnaround in fortune / results, it has to start tomorrow. It has to start tomorrow. And having some players back is obviously a boost towards that. So we've got a lot to talk about during the show. Let us know where you're watching from as usual. Smash a like on the video. You can join the members club as well. I've been seeing the full-time views that Owen's been doing. Have, of course, considering the results, we've had a lot of you have wanted to get involved and have your say. But if you join the membership, that is one of probably the biggest perks, apart from getting your badges, your emojis, your priority chat, your UV raw. So there are a lot of big perks, to be fair. But I think one of the biggest ones definitely is having your say live on match day from around the world as well. You can call in. But yes, lots to talk about today. Amrabat debut, maybe injury boost, Mount and Varane return. The press conference is today as well. We'll see what questions are posed to Ten Hag, and hopefully we can get some clarity on those names that I just mentioned. Owen, where are we at? What's the state of play? What's been going on with some of the reports to suggest that Mount, Amrabat, Varane, there's rumblings of returns?
Yes, there's rumblings of return. So Rob Dawson from ESPN has said that Manchester United are hopeful of having Mason Mount and Raphael Varane available for tomorrow's fixture against Burnley. When it comes to people that definitely aren't going to be available, there's a bit of an update when it comes to the fullbacks at Manchester United flex, because Rob Dawson has also said that there are concerns at Manchester United that Luke Shaw will not be back before the November international break. Aaron Wan-Bissaka could also be facing a similar spell on the sidelines after his hamstring injury. So we're looking towards maybe mid-November for them. Now, this is quite an interesting one because it depends on your threshold of what you believe. Because obviously there's the Twitter account, what's it called? Insider United, that initially people were very skeptical of, and you have to give people credit when they get things right, as well as point out when they get things wrong. And they were right about the Jadon Sancho thing in terms of the refuse to apologize. And people were like, oh, no, he didn't do that. He did do that. Then was like 48 hours prior to Aaron Wan-Bissaka being announced to have a hamstring injury, out for 2 months. Everyone, I think myself included, I don't know about you, Flex, saying that, it's not happening. But then turned out it was right, 48 hours. So they have said, and again, take it with a pinch of salt.
I don't think I've seen them get anything wrong.
This is early stages with this this source, but take it with a pinch of salt. They have said that Sofyan Amrabat is fit enough for the squad this weekend, and they've put in brackets as of today, suggesting these things can change from day to day. Interestingly, they say that Mason Mount is still a week away, suggesting that Mason Mount wouldn't be available for tomorrow's game. Kobbie Mainoo, who was also out on the grass on Tuesday when they were training, is at least 2 weeks away, so a bit more time for him. The two interesting ones, I think, from that, to be honest, are one, is kind of like they've both done this, Mason Mount and Amrabat, because you would have assumed, well, Amrabat's from the grass, but he's not in first-team training, so he won't make the squad. Mason Mount is with the squad. So he'll be available, but it could be the other way around. What do you think about
that? I can only go off gut feeling. I don't know many occasions, if any, where you go from individual training into the squad for the game. I don't, especially when you've never even played with us as well. That means you're saying to Amrabat, because as far as we know, he hasn't been in team training. That means you're saying to him, you've never played with these guys before. You've never even trained with them. Go and play away at Burnley, innit? Or go on the bench at Burnley because we're going to bring you on in the 70th minute or some shit like that. So I think that one is doubtful, to say the least. I'll be very.
They've
surprised.
All been doubtful. That's the problem, isn't it? Every report or every post that's been put out there, they've seemed so far fetched. Jadon Sancho's refused to apologise. This was at the time that the tweet was taken down. So everyone went, he must have apologised. He hasn't. It was same with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's got a hamstring injury. He's out for a couple of months. Everyone went, but we just saw him yesterday and he left Old Trafford walking and he played 5 minutes. He was on the bench because he was ill and then comes out. So it's a curious way. You know what?
That was training. Training's on purpose, though. Like, he's fully not... Like, bro, he's not... He wasn't considered fit enough to train with the group. I tell you what, I would go as far as to say, if that is the case, yeah, that he goes from training alone because he's getting back to fitness and hasn't trained with the first team to in the squad that quick, that will tell you everything what Ten Hag thinks about the situation in midfield. Yeah. That means like, ideally I wouldn't do this, but I trust you because I know you, and just give me 15, 20. We can work the rest out after. Or, I mean, when they got back, so they stayed in Munich and trained at Bayern's complex.
Yeah, they did an extra day, didn't they? Yeah.
So they wouldn't have had. So Amrabat wouldn't have been there because he wasn't there. So he's still. Yeah, he hasn't trained with the team.
Unless it's literally today. Unless literally they do the training today. Because they know they do the way it works. The way it works, they have the training. Wow. So it depends when Ten Hag has the press conference, because sometimes he does the press conference and he says, they ask him questions and he go, well, I don't know, we haven't done training yet. Sometimes it's before the press conference, and then sometimes he goes, he did training today.
It's before. Sorry, it's after. Every time we go to the pressers, usually he does that. One of the players come in, when this is obviously Champions League / Europa, a player will come in with him in the training gear. They're ready to go. The others are getting ready in the block across the road from the Jimmy Murphy Centre, and they go training after that, because then we go to the open training for like 15, 20 minutes, and then you get kicked out. So I think it would probably be that. I don't think training would be done by half one.
But like, I remember one of the first times that Højlund trained, it was a press conference day. He was like, "Oh, he trained today, or he trained yesterday, or something like that." So it might be a similar situation, a bit like that with Amrabat, where he goes, "Yeah, he was involved today, or he's going to be involved today, or whatever." But even if that is the case, I mean, we're saying he could be in the squad. It doesn't mean he's going to start. He definitely ain't going to start.
Yeah, he definitely ain't going to start. He definitely ain't going to start. And, like I said, if he's in that squad, that tells us everything we need to know about how much Ten Hag wants to fast track this situation. Whereas you look at Varane and you look at Mount, they were fully, Man United made it a thing to put them in pictures as well, that they're back, powerful running, smiles, touches on the ball, etc. And obviously Ten Hag did say with those two, didn't he really, that they're the ones that very close, too soon for Bayern, but I think he even did say Burnley. Yeah. So I think at least on the bench, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it going, Varane, I think, will start. And because Varane's a different case to other people, because he can, he will be purposely left out of certain things, knowing that he probably could have started actually on Wednesday against. He might have been actually physically ready enough, but they'll go,
they've got to make sure.
We don't risk it. So I would be really surprised if Varane doesn't start. The Mount one,
and he has to play 90 minutes as well.
Exactly.
Within reason.
Most likely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most likely.
I mean, unless the game's completely dead and buried, then they might take him off. But the Mount one, like you, I'd be surprised if at the very least he wasn't on the bench. Like it just felt too calculated, didn't it? That he, like you said, they were there. They were there in the training, the open training session, particularly in front of the cameras. Also, almost like a little bit as if to say to maybe the United fans of, they're not going to be involved tomorrow, but don't worry, they're ready. They'll be good.
Positive PR. It was positive PR. You don't have to, the same when Højlund was injured, but he got into first team training. There was loads of pictures of him. It's our new sign, and you have to do that. There's so much negativity. You've got to drip feed or attempt to drip feed and turn around the perception that it's all doom and gloom. Look, remember, we've got players back. Remember, we need a settled squad. And remember, we've got a new signing. He's young. He's 20. Like, just bear with us. That's what it is. Obviously, when it happens, it never goes out that way, because on social media, you look at the comments whenever the club posts anything other than a club statement that says we've been sold. It's ridiculous, the comments. It never works that way. But obviously, the PR team will be, the media team will be the media team. They got a job to do, and that's their job. It doesn't matter how bad it is. It's almost kind of quite shit. Imagine you're the admin, in times when it's crap.
The comments. I don't think they read the
comments. Yeah, but they just know. But they don't read it, but they don't sit and go, "Oh, this person just said that. Oh, bloody hell, that hasn't been well received." But I'm just in general, when you're the photographer, right, we're going to use this picture of Højlund. You just know it's like people ain't going to care. It's going to get angry.
Yeah, I don't think, like,
but you got to do your job. Got to do your
Yeah,
job. Do
I
your
think they
job.
probably just look at numbers. You know what I mean? They go, "What's the engagement rate on this post?
Yeah,
What's the, what was
absolutely.
what was the reach on this one?" And they go, "What,
And the
what
reach
was
and
it?"
engagement is always massive.
It's always massive, and then they'll go, "What was the sentiment of it?" It's no point talking about what the
Yeah,
sentiment was or the
just
reaction
leave
or
that.
anything like that because it probably wasn't that great. So, yes, I think Varane starts tomorrow. Mount.
He could
The
start.
problem is Flex, and we was chatting about this yesterday. Actually, weren't we on the phone? We were saying that, and this is where I do push back a little bit on some of the Ten Hag criticism. Don't get me wrong. When you've had the start we've had, when the records that have been broken by us this season, worst start in 35 years, 3 goals conceded in 3 consecutive games, first time 45 years, something like that. I mean, the manager takes criticism. He has to. He is not immune from criticism like that. But I have seen some people. And I was chatting to some of the people after the game on the full-time view, going, about team selection. Realistically, if we're talking about team selection, what other team can he pick at this point? And is that part of the problem?
That he can't pick any other team apart from what we're seeing. Yeah, I think.
Pretty
Well,
much.
realistically, because let's take the last 2 games. Let's take Bayern and let's take Brighton. Right, the same team was pretty much available apart from Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. Actually, so even that he had 2 less options, but one viable
I mean,
option that would.
limited.
Yeah,
Yeah, limited.
one viable option that would play because Maguire's not in anyone's starting 11. Wan-Bissaka is. So he went with a diamond and tried something new with the players that he had at his disposal. And it was Garnacho on the bench. It was Palestri on the bench. There wasn't really much else he could do apart from why didn't Wan-Bissaka start instead of Dalot, which everyone thought at the time. It was, Reguilon starting and Dalot's not left back. What's going on here? But Reguilon did well. And Dalot for Wan-Bissaka, we knew why. He was ill, etc. Then he got injured. But I think once you got the limited options that he did for Bayern, a lot of people, including myself, I was like, well, that's probably the best we can do, considering what we've got. And he's included Palestri, which actually I didn't think he would. I kind of thought, and it shows you, doesn't it, how weird it is that you
Surprise,
think
yeah.
if you don't. We literally said, didn't we? Remember this, Owen? We said during the prediction for the week, I think you were predicting lineups, and so was I. And we said, you said it actually, and I agreed. He said, well, if he doesn't start against Brighton, there's no way starting against Bayern away.
Yeah. I was really
Do you know what I mean?
surprised, and
That's insane.
his sort of rationale for that is he went, he was traveling back from South America, so it was just
Yeah.
he might have been fatigued or anything like that. So if that
Did he
is
say
the
that?
case, yeah,
Did he say
before
that?
the game, he was about travel. He's young from South
He's got to
America.
start. He's got to start
So
next Saturday.
for me, that would suggest then there's no reason for him not to play against Burnley. Then.
No.
And
And on top
I
of
do
that,
understand. Go on.
he played well.
Well, I think
Against Bayern.
he did okay. I think, and this is the problem too, isn't it? Is that we've sort of put so much pressure on him. Just play for Kundro, that when he plays and he doesn't completely set the world alight, you know what I
Doesn't
mean?
have to. I don't need him
It's
to.
like people are like, oh, well, see, this is probably other hype players and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
And
not
I
that.
agree with what some people were saying after the game too, when they're saying, look, I mean, it's tough. You drop him. Imagine like one of your first starts ever for Manchester United is away against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. And I get sink or swim in senior football, particularly at Manchester United, but that's pretty tough going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very tough going.
Liam says he did not play well. Here's my opinion on it, Liam. And this is sometimes you don't see it on TV when you're in the stadium and you can watch literally a player off the ball and see what they do in the bigger picture. So the reason why Palestri did play well for me is because one, it's his first start right in a while, and it's a huge game, like you said. What was at stake, where it was, who it was against, and his direct opponent in Alphonso Davies, probably the quickest fullback in the world with a couple of others, right? And obviously Kyle Walker, but yeah, you know what I'm saying, left back anyway, solid, quick, and he kept him honest, and he just keeps his shape. Now there was a couple of flash moments where he nearly got on the end of things, coming in late from outside to win as a winger, and I just think that in a period of like mayhem, which is what we have, of course we want players to come in and score goals and assists, but our problem is people not working properly. Is people not keeping their shape. Our problem right now is the basics, and I think we need to realize that. We have no physicality. We've got no honesty. We've got no determination. As Eric Ten Hag literally just said in the presser, it's about determination. And in order to kick on to the next thing, to start scoring goals, like we get infatuated with Rashford's got to do this. Bruno's got to give goals and assists. Højlund's not getting enough touches. And yes, ultimately, these are things that make you score goals, right? But essentially, what makes you start having the foundations for a good team performance is people doing the basic stuff correctly. And we're not doing that. We're not compact. The spaces between fullback and opposition fullback are too big. The spaces between midfield are too massive. We're not winning duels. We're not attempting to win duels. We're not winning headers. We're losing concentration. All of our problems are less of like, I know that this player possesses the skill to do that, so why is he not doing it? It's structurally, it's mentality. And what Pellistri did, what was really important, and I know you can say that's how far the standards have fallen, but the standards have fallen this far that we have to get back to basics because we're getting smashed every game, guys. We keep conceding three goals, conceding chance after chance. We've got to get the basics right. And what Pellistri can do in this moment, especially when we don't have any other proper right wingers, is give that to us and then give us a platform to play. So I'm not saying he's a world beater. I'm not saying he's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not saying he should play every game 90 minutes and when Anthony comes back, if he does whatever, Santi's better than all of these. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is right now, I think he needs to play again because I think against a team that aren't as good as Bayern, where we can be a bit more on the ball, I think Pellistri will get more opportunities at the same time as doing the basics right.
Yeah, I do think it's... We were talking about this too, weren't we? That I think it's almost at this point, it's kind of beyond one player. You know what I mean? It's this player comes in, it'll be fixed. Obviously, it will get better, but I think it does go down to at the moment. It goes down to mentality. It does go down to attitude. It does go down to, like you said, working together. It goes down to the reactions to adversity within the game. I think Bruno said it after the game as well, and he's right by that. And this sort of mindset, like for instance, we play away at Burnley tomorrow. If we go 1-0 down, I do not want to see that reaction again of just like, well, we've lost. It's game over. I can't believe we've lost the game.
But it's that bad. It's that bad, Owen. And this is pessimistic Joe, whatever. But honestly, if we do go 1-0 down, I'd already, even the thought of even saying that out loud, I already probably would be thinking, I don't know what.
But again, this is the point that they need to realize is in a game of football, that can happen. You are not going to have a perfect game.
Look at Liverpool last night against Lask.
Yeah, exactly. But we're not, and that's Liverpool, but we're not Man City. We're not Arsenal in terms of our ability and our quality at the moment. And even they go behind 1-0 in games. Guess what? It happened. It happened with City, last weekend against West Ham. All the good teams, they will concede goals in games. It's just a fact. You're not going to be perfect. So when adversity does hit you, don't just melt away. And then most importantly, don't then concede 5 minutes afterwards. I mean, literally, because that's what happens. We drop a goal and we go, oh, we've lost. I can't believe it. Should the mindset be, you've got 70 minutes left. You've got like 80 minutes
left. Get a draw out of this
game.
Let's get back. It's not that bad.
Not even that. Don't get a goal. Because again, if you score the goal, get some momentum going in the game. And that's when I go back to, I don't think it's like one player, Amrabat's in, we're going to win all of our games.
No chance.
We'll put Mason Mount in, we'll win all of our games. I'll put this person in, we'll win all the games. It's not like that. It's mentality. And there is a stark difference between, I go back to that Liverpool game at home last season, terrible start. And in that Liverpool game, we just literally, we ran and we pressed and we kicked people, high fives, fist bumps, whatever it needs, slaps on the backs. Where just that kind of attitude just isn't there. You watch the game and some people's body language is just shit. I mean, like I said, jogging around, pressing. Sometimes it's not even jogging. It's that thing when it looks like you're jogging, but you're really walking. We've all
just
done
trotting.
that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to keep yourself moving. And I'm looking at it going, where is the intensity? Because make no mistake, like Bayern Munich, I wouldn't class them as like an intense side. You know what I mean? It wasn't like super intense or anything like that. And and that's when I go back to I look at the team and I just go like, where's that? And I don't know if you look at people like Bruno, you say, as a captain, are you spurring that on? Where's the reaction to all of it? That's just not good enough. And that's what I want to see tomorrow. I wanted to see against Bayern. I don't really see that, to be honest. I saw what we've seen a lot, which is, the 20-minute decent, don't take chances, and then concede and then collapse. That's the formula. But I want to see even tomorrow. I just want to see again some
we'll have a lot
tenacity.
of ball tomorrow. We'll have even more of the ball tomorrow, and and that's what's deflating us, because we're seeing a lot of the ball in the opening stages. Then we have nothing to show for it, if not 1-0 down. The minds just collapse, and that's why I even asked Bruno. I mean, obviously he's he's never going to say yes, I suppose. But I wanted to pose it to him. I'm saying, look, there's about this managing games and the emotional parts of it and mentality. And he said he doesn't think it's that, but obviously he's
It
never going to
is.
say that. But it is,
But
though.
it is. It is.
It
And
is
he pointed out, like, he
exactly.
goes, well, if that happens sometimes, footballing moments, yeah, a mistake happens, or we did get back into the game, but the penalty happens, and you go, yeah, but that's what we're trying to say is that can happen. But how come, like, whenever it does happen, it's just, well, it's over, because one of the worst things I think with that result on Wednesday is that it does flatter us. Like, it does. And you look at that. If you didn't watch the game and you saw Bayern Munich 4, Man United 3 goals, hey, that's a pretty close game. Well, United had a pretty good go in it, scoring 3 goals at the Allianz. And the problem is, we said going into the game that Bayern will give you chances. And, when Bayer Leverkusen scored 2 against them at the last weekend, and they should have scored 5. If you watch the game, they easily could have had like 5. It goes to show that they'll give you chances. And when did the goals happen? Like the last goals, last kick of the game, it flatters us. It does not tell the whole story of that game. And I mean, that could be, you can say, oh, here we go, being negative again, negative view on the morning view. But I'm just hoping tomorrow, and it is hope at this point. I'm just hoping that we see some kind of physical reaction, that kind of that grit that you would associate with a Ten Hag team.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing what I did like what Bruno said, which again he was always going to say, is we can talk about the injuries as much as we want, and I did ask him that, but essentially you can't just blame it on that, because the players that are there, they're showing that in 20 minutes, half an hour, they can do what they're supposed to be doing. Do you know what I mean? Have control of the game, move the ball properly. So a couple of nice sequences, create a couple of chances, win the ball back quick. That's what we want to see. That first 20 minutes against Brighton, we want to see that for 90 minutes. That first 20 minutes against Bayern, where Bayern couldn't do anything, kept giving us the ball, good ball recoveries, we're on them. Want to see that for 90 minutes, but we're only doing it for 20.
That first 20 minutes against Tottenham, we want to see that, But this is the thing; it's every game, and I remember
every game.
I remember when
first 20 minutes against Arsenal. We want to see that.
We literally predicted it, right? We literally predicted it. And I remember some of the comments, how dare you predict our downfall? How dare you? You're meant to be fans. How dare you predict how United are going to lose? And make no mistake, guys, it's not because me and Flex are geniuses or anything like that going, I can't believe you predicted that out of nothing. It's amazing. This has been happening for a while. that cycle of performance has been happening a while. What's the statistic that James Duck has put out this morning? Since the start of March, United have lost 18 of 35 away matches in all competitions. Only West Ham have a worse record over that period.
Yeah, exactly. Couple super chats here. Lil Yo-Yo says, Flex, you questioned Onana, and Owen alluded to this yesterday. Flex, you questioned Onana about his shot stopping, and he conceded 4. You need to be interrogated. It's a running thing. Well, what can you say? You either ask the proper questions, and what happens in the game, or you don't ask the proper questions. And it is true that did happen. It did happen.
It's just
but it pissed me off. It did piss me off, because more to the point, I'm just like, and usually, guys, I am up for it's not me, it's not the judge. But I'll be honest, guys, I'm annoyed. I am.
Yourself.
Yeah,
well,
I'm annoyed.
I'm annoyed. The last press conference, the last European press conference you were in, of course, was the one in Sevilla, right? In Seville. And that question that you got in that press conference was asking Erik ten Hag about David De Gea. And I believe the response was, De Gea is the perfect goalkeeper. 24 hours later, he has one of the all-time stinking performances of his career. Yeah. Maybe one of the performances that made Erik ten Hag kind of go, actually, maybe we don't keep him around, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Next European press conference you're in, ask Andre Onana about, hey, is it about proving that you're better when you're shot stopping? Bad goal with a shot stopping. Just
it's not even about conceding 4. It's about that one that you did do. But the thing is, though, and
but if anything, it goes to show that is a valid question to ask.
That's what I'm saying. It's good journalism, mate. It's not judge. It's good, doing my job better than the ones in there who don't ask the proper questions, mate.
Yeah. And there were they were very strong questions. And also as well, the other question was about Rashford linking up with Højlund. And there was a moment in the game in the first half, Rashford goes past the fullback again. I don't know. It was this weird sort of discrepancy of whether Opta didn't even classify it as a shot or a cross. It was definitely a shot, and he had no business taking a shot at that point. But that's the criticism, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And then in this for the actual goal that he does score, I think Rashford does pass it to him, doesn't he? So Rashford did get an assist. Did he? Yeah, he did. He did. So weirdly, it proved both in one. But that's just it. People, like we said, that was something I was actually quite proud of, because we as a community, well, Owen kind of led it, and then we asked you as a community, do you want us to ask that? So my second question was based off what we spoke about right here. And
Yeah.
actually, although it was a negative game, negative result, and there's ultimately more negativity of a more negative feeling after it, in terms of you guys, the community, and fan channels in general, it just shows the power, and how far we've come. Do you know what I mean? I've been doing this like 6-7 years, and I can tell you now, the amount of graft gone in to basically give us a voice in there, it has not been easy. I promise you. You know, maybe one day it's a bit extra. I wouldn't write a book, but one day I'll do a stream, just, you know, maybe just talking about other stuff, like, you know, how things were and the journey and stuff like that. Maybe like a Q&A. But I'm telling you, the graft that's gone in to get a seat at the table, is really difficult. It's really difficult. And then to be able to represent us in that moment, because I never like to say I represent fans, but in that moment, you literally do. You literally do, if you think about your questions properly and don't think selfishly. And we, the community, came up with that question. So I was really proud to do that for you guys. And we got a good answer, didn't we? So
Yeah.
Ahmed says, Flex, no doubt you had better questions of the bunch, but clearly what you said to Onana lingered in his head. Mentality not up to snuff. I mean,
that's a completely
that,
different
Ahmed.
school of thought. That one. I mean, the judge thing is in jest. You know what I mean? But that one, to say that you planted the seed, that
no,
because I'm sure Andre
he knows
Onana,
he hasn't started well.
Yeah, and you definitely are not the only person in the last however many weeks to talk to Andre Onana about shot stopping. I mean, there was an interview where he literally grabbed the guide and he said, come here, you know, about conceding goals and the bad start and stuff like that. So I wouldn't put that blame on you, Flex, you know.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But big up to you, Ahmed. Nem Green is the latest member of the United View members club. And Andy says, Fleck, you are so naive. Clip this. We are fragile as fuck. If we go 1-0 down tomorrow at Burnley, the game is gone. Stop being pally and call out gutless players. Andy, I don't know if you've been watching.
You literally said that.
I don't. Am I going, Andy? Come on, bro.
Do you know what it is?
Crazy? Am I going crazy? Is it me?
It's true, honestly,
I've
Flex.
literally just said that against Burnley, if we go a girl down, I'm telling you, Owen, I don't see it. I've literally just said about our mentality and the reason why I think Pelestri should start, because the mentality is awful. I literally asked Bruno about our mentality. What do you mean stop being pally?
And this is
I said to Onana, do you think you're just good with your feet, or do you need to show you can actually save the ball?
This is the thing as well, Flex, is when stuff like this happens, I don't know about you, I start getting worried because I go, am I actually saying the opposite of what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean? Because I think that I've said this, but apparently people have heard the opposite of that as well. But I literally said, if we go 1-0 down, which could happen, we have to react to that. And you go, I don't know if they can though, Owen. But Flex, you've got to stop being so pally and call out the gutless players.
I know. Big up Andy. Andy, I'm like, what do you mean? Have you not listened? Have you not listened to my me predict that we were going to lose X, Y, Z, and everyone come at me saying don't be negative? What do you mean? Be naive? I'm the one saying that we're going to flipping lose half of these games. All of these games, I predicted what was going to happen. He means stop being naive. Like I'm saying, I don't know what
we're going to win. You were saying we're going to lose. Stop being naive, Flex. You can't win. That's the thing. You can't win, can you, in some instances? Because if you say, like for the Bayern Munich one, we can go there, we can get a result, stop the toxic positivity. Oh, we're going to lose. Stop being so negative. Cheer on the boys. You can never win.
Yeah, you can't win. Mike Cass says 90 mins is not possible. That's not our ceiling. What we see is our ceiling. The ability of our players and coach allow for exactly what we are seeing. Check our away record since Ten Hag arrived. It's obvious, obviously, with that stat going out that only West Ham have a worse away record in a certain amount of games, which is obviously concerning.
It is bad. It
is very bad. Very bad. It's awful. It's awful. Joe Blackman, been a member for 5 months. Big up to you, Joe. Says Flex with the great judge comes great responsibility. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I will take that on the chin. Big up Ahmed. Ahmed says, was not blaming you, Flex. Questions on Onana's mentality. He was clearly overthinking it, whether it was you who asked or other. We're asking him about it as well. Basically, just even if someone else asked him, it's clearly on his mind.
Thing is,
But I
don't
do
even
push
think it's
back a bit
that.
on the mentality bit.
Yeah, I think it's just he's just not very good at shot stopping. I don't
Yeah.
think it's in his head or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that it was like he got all these questions going into the game, and then because that was on his mind, he made a mistake. I think he made the mistake because that's a weak part of his game that needs improving.
That's
You
what I
can
was going to
argue.
ask you. Do you think this is just a bit of bad form, or do you think like he is just actually not a
No,
good shot?
I think look, this is the thing too, and it is true. Like mistakes can happen. That's why with David De Gea, whenever if you make a mistake once in a blue moon or whatever, it happens. Like it does. Even the best goalkeepers. You look at Edison, look at Allison, look at whoever. They all make stinkers from time to time. Fine, no problem. You hope it doesn't happen in big games like that. I think the bigger problem is more so not even the glaring howlers like against Bayern. The bigger problem is it's the ones that, like, again, third goal against Brighton, which you go, actually, mate, you should probably save that. You got to do better. A bit like maybe that goal against Arsenal. People can say deflection, but he did get his arm to it. Those ones, that's the bigger issue. Those mistakes, park that to one side. It's those goals. And that's a concern because that might be a thing. Like that might be a thing. He's not a very good shot stopper. And I think maybe Ten Hag, you would hope Ten Hag would have been aware of that, but he would have been working with the assumption of, yeah, but our defense will get better. Our midfield will be better. We'll face less shots. So we're only expecting him. Because like we would go through those games with David De Gea, right? And the goal would get peppered and David De Gea would make like 4 or 5 saves. And you go, David De Gea's on one today. Oh my God, he's unbelievable. He's making all these saves. This is incredible. That's not sustainable for most other goalkeepers. No, Onana won't do that. Onana won't have that performance. Yeah. What he can do is if you're facing only a select amount of shots a game, make a save, cool, move on. But that kind of sort of superhero, Superman-esque, De Gea against Arsenal away, or even last season, there were games. I remember a couple of games, I think West Ham at home, he made some brilliant saves in that game.
At home.
Yeah, brilliant. Where it's like 2 or 3, and you go, what? I can't believe it. Onana won't do that. He won't.
No, I think what we can see is even in David De Gea's worst form, which was last year, right? Where we kind of went, even his shot stopping's gone because he was having, calamitous points towards the end. He still is a better shot stopper than Onana. Like over the course of the season, what's interesting is that what Onana's done, David De Gea was doing that in parts last year. Like the one against West Ham was that.
It's almost like for like. And David De Gea's made that mistake, similar one, on a couple of different FA Cup semi-final. You know what I mean?
Exactly. The one,
Brentford,
won the season before. Brentford.
Awful. You know what I mean?
That was a really bad one, that one. Was it Josh De Silva, was it? Left foot, same kind of thing. And those ones, they're coming. That's like the Sane one, actually, pretty much the same. Then a couple of seasons ago, in Ollie season, was it? Or was it season 4? I can't remember. Fell into the post. Then Deeney gets a penalty or whatever it was.
Yeah, the one against Watford where he sort of throws it in or whatever. And like I said, FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea, it's basically the same. It's a dive, trickle shot. I think it's a Mason Mount shot, and it just goes in.
And there's the one against Everton where he didn't kick the ball in time, and Calvert-Lewin flipping came and it hit off him, and basically they scored from it. Remember that one?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, I look at the more sort of similar ones to that. Again, they do happen.
But Onana won't make. There won't be many saves that Onana makes where you go, bloody hell. He doesn't. No, I don't think he'll possess.
No, I don't think he'll make those. Like sometimes De Gea would make it, and you go, tell you what, that's unbelievable. I don't know how he did that. I don't know if Andre Onana has that in his locker. There was always going to be a trade-off. I would always say though, because it's not as if we were blind going into that, because we knew that it was going to be. It's almost like in like FIFA or something like that, isn't it? You know what I mean? You got to take those reflexes got to come down a little bit to bring up the distribution side of things a little bit. That's almost like it's like with Onana. But again, I think that Ten Hag had hoped that defensively we wouldn't be as fragile as we are. I mean, oh my God, Flex! The amount of shots we face at this point. The midfield just vanishes as well. It's so easy to get through. That's part of the problem as well. And it's not to say like we're suggesting that the defense needs to be better because if as a shot on target it goes in, because obviously Andre
No,
Onana
that
needs
can't
to do
happen. Yeah.
better. Obviously, he needs to do better. But I think we also have to be conscious that this goalkeeper isn't like the other one where they can have like 20 shots in the game and he'll bail us out, because that's not going to happen. And it's not sustainable. And because in other
No,
clubs, it wouldn't be like that. You know, you
it's
need
just
to. The defense is not good enough. The midfield is
it's
not good
not.
enough at the moment.
And it's just different as well, because you look at the first 20 minutes of that game, he was doing everything that we bought him for, Onana, everything.
Yeah,
Exactly what you want. Of course, probably a mixture of both, of Thomas Tuchel setting his side up, even though he wasn't in the stands, but in the team talk, probably saying we'll sit in this sort of mid block with like don't press, because they were literally letting us have it. And Onana had space and time to do exactly what he wanted to do. But what he did with the time in the first 20 minutes was pinging balls out to the left. Hit a brilliant one to Christian Eriksen. I mean, we went and played from there. He hit a great ball to Bruno, super, probably about 50 yards. Drilled past. Bruno set Rashford with a nice little cushion ball. Rashford messed up the touch. He clipped one out to, I think, Dallo or Palestra. I can't remember. It was to the right hand side anyway, whoever it was. And he was doing what we should do. And also the mentality side of it. Like, he's got character. Whereas, obviously De Gea seemed a little bit shy and a bit timid. The fact that he's messing up and coming out and saying, it's on
well, he
me,
insisted, didn't he?
and I've
Yeah,
got,
I want,
he
yeah.
insisted. So that doesn't. I'm not saying these things definitely make him better, because he's got to prove it, but they're good starting points, and we need to hope. We need to hope that this is just something that we look back on and go, remember when bloody, he had that bad period, and it looked like he was in trouble.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think that it's his performance needs to get better from a fundamental goalkeeping point of view, and he himself has said that. But I do think it's a wider team issue in the sense of we are so open and we are so vulnerable. And I don't know. Remember a few years ago, Flex, where like Ollie's last season into the Ranić season, where it was like every single time the opposition team came forward, I thought they're going to score. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah.
we turn every team into that kind of wave after wave after wave of attacking, and that's why I say the scoreline flattered us, because Bayern Munich hit the post twice in that game. Onana actually did make a couple of decent saves in the
He
second
did
half
make
as
some good
well.
saves afterwards. Yeah.
So it could have been way more, and that's when I go back to just that's not sustainable. And obviously, yeah, the mistake that's awful. But I also then look at the reaction to the mistake once again and say that it was non-existent. It was head down. We've lost. We're not coming back. That's it. And that needs to be better. But as you say, there have been, let's not pretend like we haven't, during near enough every game, gone about Andre Onana, go, oh, that's a good pass. That's good. Oh, that's why we brought him in. Remember when we were facing Spurs and we were playing well in that first half, and we should have been at least like 2-0 up. Bruno Fernandes misses a header from 6 yards out, open. Basically, goalkeeper's there. All he has to do, get on target and score. We're talking about how great the distribution and the passing is and all that, and it's just Man United at the moment is so like dichotomous, isn't it? Literally 20 minutes, everything's great. 25 minutes, everything's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why we need, this game coming up tomorrow. I cannot tell you how important it is. Well, you lot know how important it is. Everyone knows how important it is, because forget losing. And even if you draw, there are no excuses tomorrow. And that's not me saying like, because Burnley are rubbish, you should just roll them over. We've got a God-given right. I'm saying, after how we've been playing, if you don't put that right and play to the best of your ability, or get a result at Burnley, serious questions need to be asked. Because
yeah, massively.
the one thing that we've had is the types of teams we've been playing in a bad moment, where you can say you don't really want to play them teams if you're not at it. And you have to include Brighton in that, because that's just how they roll in the Premier League. They've rolled over many a Big Six teams.
Even though they lost last night. Did you watch that game?
Went at 2-2.
They lost 3-2.
Oh, they lost 3-2 in the end. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's Europe. It's the first time in 122 years in their whole history that they've ever been in it.
I tell you what, defensively last night they were all over the place. I don't think they had Dunk playing. I don't think, but
yeah, no,
they
They didn't.
all over the shop last night defensively.
Yeah.
And
It happens,
actually,
Brighton,
and as well,
they're not Real Madrid. It's because they've been playing like Real Madrid. We forget they are Brighton.
I did sympathise with them a bit, because they got 2 penalties in the end, right, Flex? But initially they were both given because of VAR. They were both given because of VAR, and honestly, Flex, if VAR hadn't existed, they would have been robbed. They are two of the most stonewall penalties you've ever
the one
seen.
on João Pedro on the first one I saw,
He said he
literally
dived.
kicked him in the it's mad. He gave him a yellow card. It's insane. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Daniel Luciano says, players in the locker room tired of Flex curse. Is that going to be the next leak to come out? Waiting for United to win the Prem. Exactly. Onana struggles getting down to save low shots. And Andy says, unpopular opinion, I would sell Onana and buy Ramsdale. Interesting.
Unpopular might be an understatement on that one, to be honest with you.
Big up DJ as well. DJ saying Bayern Deer is a decent shot stopper. What are you lot saying? You want to have a look at Bayern Deer in the Carabao Cup just to see what we got?
Just to
see what we got. Just to see.
Let's stop doing this.
No.
Because again, we're changing history again. Because when we got Bayern Deer, I saw all the people do the comps on social media going, he's not even that good at Fenerbahce or whatever. Look at him making all these mistakes. Oh, we're so quick, aren't we? We are so quick to turn on people and turn on players just as quickly as we're saying to say that they're great. Literally, a couple of bad games, Andre and one mistake. Get Bayern Deer in. He's better. That will be the thing now. He is better than him.
So you're saying
he's better.
That Bayern Deer is better.
They'll say they'll go. He's better. That's what they'll go. He's better than him now. He's better. You should be playing. If we had Bayern Deer in, we would be winning the Champions League. Is what we're basically saying now. Come on, guys. Because what happened now? Andre Onana, like at the weekend, right? Let's say we win tomorrow, 3-0. Onana's passing it around great. We'll be like, Onana's best goal. That's why he's nominated for Ballon d'Or flex. That's why. Now, I'm not saying that Bayern Deer doesn't need to play, because come January, we're going to need him to play because Onana's not going to be here. So, yes, Carabao Cup, play him. And who knows? Bayern Deer might have a run of games in January where it's actually, he's played so well, Onana might struggle to get back in. But literally, a few bad games and it's just this goalkeeper's rubbish. Release him. Some people will be like, sign back, but De Gea, he's still a free agent. I'm like, oh my God.
I know. Yeah, it isn't about that. It is going to be the press conference today. Media hounds out again, sort of, or is it just mainly, obviously, Peachy would do the fitness. Who can we expect? The main thing we can learn from the presser today is, like you said, is who is going to be back. They'll probably ask about what conversations he's had with the players and, how big a game is this, because obviously if you're not on the right end of the result, etc., etc.
They'll ask him. They'll put some of the records in his face. You know what I mean? They'll say Eric's been the worst start for Manchester United for a season for 35 years.
Yeah.
Do you worry about statistics like that? Or they'll merge two. It's been the worst start in 35 years. The first time you've conceded 3 goals in 3 consecutive games in 45 years. And do those kind of statistics bother you? And he'll be like, well,
no.
They'll be like, is this, we don't like having negative results, but it's part of the process, something like that,
Yeah. And then he'll just say who's available. Like he'll say, yes, Varane, hopefully Varane and Mason Mount will be involved. Yes, he'll say they'll be involved. And he goes, Amrabat, too early. That's what I think he'll say.
Do you think he'll get asked about Jadon Sancho? Playing, was it pro clubs?
Nah.
Allegedly.
Oh, actually, maybe someone like Jamie Jackson might do something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe Neil Custis, someone who wants to. But I don't think they base their thing off because journalists are quite, not what's the word? I don't think they would want to say the word FIFA in a press conference, online gaming. I don't think.
Well, they would say something like there were rumors or there were things on social media that suggested Jadon Sancho was playing video games. Playing video games during the game.
I think they'll ask him that.
What's your response to that? Possibly, they might ask for an update on it.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, that's true. Maybe I'm being a bit naive there.
If you were smart, you would turn it into what was it? What's the game called now? EAFC. Is that the new one it's called? He's playing FIFA, now known as EAFC. Out at the end of the month, October. Blah blah blah. Get the money.
Yeah, get a massive sponsorship deal. Yeah, they could ask him that. Obviously, people want the negativity. People want the controversial stuff.
I forgot about this. Have you heard about this with KG, right? So JB mentions it here. Do you know KG can't say the word FIFA?
Yeah, he says fever. I've realised it for so long, but I've never pulled him up on it because I just thought, I don't know why he says that. He always says fever. FEVA.
He mentioned it to me the other day before we did the show. Before we did the show the other day, he went, I can't say FIFA. I went,
Oh, we
what? He
told
went,
you about it.
yeah. He went,
Yeah.
he went, I keep saying fever. I went, why? He went, I don't know.
Yeah, he's bro, but I've no honestly, he'll ring me and say, like, obviously, because obviously we've been away this week, so we couldn't do it. But he's like, when we doing the new FIFA? Like when it comes out. Thank God it's changed to EA Sports FC because he's been saying it wrong for ages. But I just always in my head, and you know what the worst thing is? I should have asked him because every time he says it, in my head, I go, why does he do that? Why does he keep calling it FIFA? Because he does say he's dyslexic and stuff. So is he seeing FIFA?
No, he's just said to me for whatever reason, he
FIFA.
just, he can just be with certain words. He just has, there's sort of the way to say them, then there's the KG way to say them. You know what I mean? That's what he's like sometimes. Because he said it to me when I just keep saying fever, and I went, why? He went, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm like, have you got one? You're
Yeah.
hot. Why talking about a fever?
Fever.
He does. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why he says that. And he has said it for a long time. Anyway, guys, I needless to say it, we said this was a big week for Man United. The first part has gone how most of us, because I don't want to be negative, most of us have predicted. This second bit,
I think we'll win. I do think
I don't
we'll win.
know, man. I don't know, Owen.
I think
I
we'll
don't
win.
know. Do you?
I remember
Predictions in the chat, by the way, on the way out.
Yeah, at the end of last season, when we had those games to qualify for top four, and one of them was like away at Bournemouth, and we were like, we're not winning away at Bournemouth. And actually, when you step back, you're like, yeah, we can win away at Bournemouth. I feel similar against Burnley. Don't get me wrong, atmosphere, all that kind of stuff. They haven't got a win this season. Vincent Company, blah blah blah. But I do think we'll win. I do think we'll win. Because my theory is that we're basically the same as we were towards the end of last season, which is basically not that great, but we can beat average teams at home. We can beat average teams away, but big games, we tend just to falter and disappear. So it's not so much of regression. It's more of actually we're kind of exactly the same. What are your thoughts?
Prefer to keep them to myself.
No, don't do that.
No.
It's your channel, Fleck.
No, well, no. Apparently, it's not. I'm not allowed to say anything.
Yeah, apparently.
Owen, I don't know. I would lean to more towards what you're saying. That we'll find a way to get it done. But with this team, mate, I would not be betting on us 100% beating Burnley. Not 100%. I could see a draw, mate. Honestly. I hope I'm wrong.
Flex Sunak.
Yeah. Honestly, we've got to beat them. But
Boris Fleck's back. Yeah.
Just being honest, mate. Just being honest. We've got to. I think we do just in the way that we said against. Remember, I said against Forest, we'll beat them, but it won't be anything to shout about. I don't think it'll be great. I think maybe the first sort of 15, 20 minutes is where we have to not allow them to be on top of us or get any confidence. We have to just keep the ball properly and not make any mistakes. Fed up of saying the M word. Mistakes all the time. But we have to not give them any encouragement. We have to almost discourage them to make them feel like we are playing against a better team here. This is really difficult. We can't get a sniff, because there was an element, like you said, like last year, like against like Bournemouth away and stuff like that. There was an element of control over those games. But with how fragile we are, if anyone makes a mistake, I just know. I just don't back us to come back from it. So if we don't make mistakes, we'll be fine. If we do, we won't. There you go. That's my 2 pence. A lot of people saying that they think we're going to win. Fine, we'll be all right against Burnley. And this is the beginning. This is the start of a period of like literally Carabao Cup. Yeah, like you said, believe has to be done. Everywhere needs to believe. Everyone needs to believe. We've got to come out of this period bouncing back. And you know what? Yeah, let's do it. We need some positivity. So let's start with a win tomorrow. And then bring on Palace twice because the season must start now. It has to. Someone's got to light the fire so that our flipping bonfire started. We've started our season because right now we just haven't started the season. It feels so crap. and it's only 6 games in. Anyway, we'll have the press conference for you later on today. And we've got some other good content coming for you as well. So look out for it. Some nice content, some good stuff coming up. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. And tomorrow as well. I'm sure you guys will enjoy some of the content we have. So yeah, big up and see you again soon. Peace.